At Staples, ends 8/24, in-store only, limit 30.
We're the Good Neighbor Network, FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, audio and video streaming at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. A look at the news, views, politics, and people that are shaping Rutherford County.
Good morning, this is Bill Krause on a beautiful July morning here at WGNS, the Thursday edition of the Roundtable. And we have a doubleheader this morning. We have two gentlemen from Journey Home, which is one of Rutherford County's greatest resources in helping those people who are in need and help, and a young gentleman who will be sharing some rather interesting insights of life and really has impressed me as I work with him on in a workshop every month in terms of writing. But our first two gentlemen are from the Journey Home, Bill Reed, who's the chairman of the board of directors, and Russ Galloway, who's chair of the Central Capital Campaign, board member, and retired physician. I always like to find out first about our two visitors, three visitors actually this morning. And Bill, tell us where you're from, a little bit of background, how you got to where you got, and what you're doing today.
Well, I am originally from North Mississippi. I spent almost 40 years in Memphis, moved to Murfreesboro in 2010 with a bank here. I'm a retired investment advisor and banker. Became involved in the Journey Home almost immediately after coming to Murfreesboro, in that my wife volunteered there within weeks of the time we arrived. Then I became involved in Journey Home when I retired some 5 years ago. So it's been 5 years on the board for me, a lot of knowledge from my wife from previous work at the Journey Home. It's been a great, fulfilling experience.
And Dr. Galloway, you're Russ to us, but
Russ.
Okay. Russ, born where and how your journey to Journey Home evolved?
We have been in Murfreesboro for 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
We're at the hospital at St. Thomas Rutherford in the emergency department for 33 years. We retired 2 years ago, and at that point I was looking for ways to keep myself busy and feel like I was giving back, and Journey Home seemed like the logical place. While I was in the emergency department, we certainly saw a lot of homeless, and I knew the good work that Journey Home was doing, so that's how I got involved with them.
Great. And Andy, we'll be asking you in the second segment of the show, as we will be talking to you at that time. At least a little overview of Journey Home. I'm extraordinarily familiar with it, having worked closely with Scott and with the staff over the past years. But a little overview of Journey Home. Who are they? What are they? What are they achieving? What are they reaching out to? Goals, objectives?
Yeah, the Journey Home has been in Rutherford County since 2006. So we will be actually starting our 19th year in November. The Journey Home is a Christian ministry based purely on providing support for disadvantaged and unhoused people in Murfreesboro and Rutherford County. Today we service roughly 1,400 households. That relates to 2,400 individuals. Our population of homeless in Rutherford County is estimated at about 5,000. We provide daily meals, which is what most people know us for, is the meal service. But we also provide showers, clothing, all of those things aimed at helping persons who are unhoused become stabilized so they can return to the community. There are a number of things that we do in the housing area, and Russ will talk about particularly what we're going to do in the new building for housing. But we're there to help those who are trying to return to the housed community in Rutherford County. Interestingly, Bill, there are roughly 2,700 school-age children in Murfreesboro and Rutherford County who are now designated by the school system as at risk for homelessness. This is an increase of 40% over their count for the previous year. So the unhoused situation in Rutherford County and every county across the nation is growing, and the Journey Home exists to help those people return to a housed community. And we do some other things. During the cold weather, we, in cooperation with St. Paul's Episcopal Church and First Baptist Church, offer coldest night shelters. When the temperature is below zero, we've sheltered 176 people this year. Within our stabilization efforts, we have a wellness clinic. It's in a rather embryonic stage now, but Russ will tell you how that's going to change. But we still cared for 144 individuals in almost 500 visits in the last year. So our function is to get people stabilized, to get them back into housing. What makes us different in dealing with the unhoused population is that we put the stabilization first. We're not in the business of warehousing people. We're in the business of helping people return to a more stable life and thus housing.
And there's two types of homeless. Many people think of primarily the long-term homeless that you may see sleeping under bridges or what have you. But the homeless, the emergency and urgent homeless, that is a family that's broken up. The wife has never worked. She's been a housewife. She now has children, literally without a roof and without food. And you want to get them at least urgently back into the norm, and then the ability to transition back into the society that they were in. So it's a whole series of different people. Russ, you're not only raising money, but you're raising money for a brand new chapter of Journey Home, a new facility to respond to the need.
It is. It's a big change for Journey Home. It's a very needed change for Journey Home. Our community. The reason I got involved with this was I saw in the emergency department homeless families who there was really nowhere to help them out, and that always seemed like such a shame, such a dereliction of our duty as citizens and caring Christians to help other people, that was a place that I wanted to get involved. I was looking for how to satisfy that, and then when Journey Home had this plan, that's why I got involved. But the big thing that they're providing in this new building for me is 10 new family housing units where people can stay 1 to 6 months and get themselves back on their feet, save money, have a stable place for a mother with their children is the most common, but it also can be for a couple or a man with children as well. Right now, there are 4 units in all of Rutherford County that will take a female and boys over 12 years old. If you're older than that, there's no homeless shelter that will accept you into their program. So it was such a needed thing, and there's so many hidden costs to not providing this care that for the long term, it's going to give better care and it is cost effective.
One of the most important things about Journey Home, and I was associated very closely with Scott Foster and with the program and mission of Journey Home when I was executive director of HARC, which was a coalition of some 60 nonprofit faith-based organizations in Rutherford County to take care of the needy. And what it was, and we'll be talking about a brand new building, but the Journey Home is more than a physical building. It's the men and women that are dedicated and committed to serve. Gentlemen like you volunteering your time on the board and committees, the staff, the many volunteers who assist not only in the food distribution, but throughout the program. Of all the social service agencies that I've worked or observed over the many, many years, I've been so impressed by Journey Home, just the spirit. So, you're in the new chapter, a new building. Talk about the new building.
most of the services that we're going to provide are similar, just in a better function. We're not looking to provide more meals for the homeless. We're looking to transition people out of homelessness to being housed. So that part of it's not growing that much. Just where we're providing now is in such a dilapidated condition that it needs to be improved. But the two big things are the new family units that we discussed about, and we're trying to provide a better wellness clinic. Right now, the wellness clinic is in a small part of the cafe, part of the dining room.
It's a corner.
It's a corner in the
Yes,
dining
yes,
room,
yes, yes.
and it's a tiny little area that we have wonderful part-time nurse practitioners who volunteer their time to provide that. But it is much better health care to provide that care where the people are. So we are arranging partnership with St. Thomas Rutherford to supply medical care in our new building. Once we have room to do that, we can help make those arrangements so that people can get care, the homeless can get care in the journey home, get their medicines, get their tests and things done right there where they need it, and that will keep them from overwhelming the emergency department and the hospital if we can give them better care where they are.
Is there any mental illness intervention?
There will also be mental health also provided in this same space, and that is another area that the homeless need. They often suffer from mental health conditions. They need that treatment, and it is difficult for them to get to their appointments. Their lives are chaotic, and so for them to arrange transportation to get at a certain point at a certain time is very difficult. And so if we can provide mental health at the journey home where the people are, then we will provide better care and more effective care.
And you have a major event coming up to help fund. You're very close to finalizing your funding, as I understand, but you're on that last leg up Mount Everest
That's
to
right.
reach the peak.
Our capital campaign is 90 to 95% done. It was a $6.2 million campaign, which, new buildings cost a lot, and we have a lot of things that we need to do in our new building. But we have gotten to the point now where we've raised right at $6 million. We have in April, we had a very generous anonymous donor who gave us a $500,000 matching grant.
Wow.
So we have gotten $300,000 of that match done. So there's still less than $200,000 left of that match. If we get that last $200,000 pledged, then we will reach the $6.2 million that we need to fully fund this new building.
Describe the buildings. Do you know square footage? Do you generally about how large?
19,400.
Wow. It's quite larger than the old dilapidated facility, which is only about 2 blocks from here at WGNS.
Yes.
Know it well.
Yes, it is a significant improvement in how much we are able to provide there.
Well, I have said this to Liz, and I am going to tell it publicly. I am making a pledge toward your fund, and we'll be providing a check in the amount of $1,000
Thank
to
you.
Journey
Great.
Home.
Thank you. That is
I
so.
always believe money goes where your beliefs thrive.
Well, thank you. That is so generous of you, and we appreciate your support, and we appreciate your belief in our cause. And if others would like to donate, you can visit lovegodservepeople.org, or you can call us at 865-278-8757 to make your donation.
And what is the big event coming up?
Well, we've got an event coming on September 12th that really is a unique opportunity in Rutherford County. This is our third year to host what we call Groovin' in the Borough. This is an evening with songwriters. This year we have Bill Luther and Marv Green. They have written a lot of material for people you will recall, like Kenny Chesney and Tim McGraw and Faith Hill.
That's after your time being on the air.
That's it. That's it.
You were back Patsy Cline. And
Yes, these folks are a little bit younger than my time behind the mic earlier, but they're George Strait, Carrie Underwood, all kinds of contributions from these two individuals to the music of these great stars. And the important thing about the event is you need to get in early. It's sold out both years. Last year it sold out 3 weeks before the event. It's September 12th at the Copper Ridge Event Center. If you're interested in being a part of that, you can call 865-278-8757.
One more time for the radio audience.
865-278-8757. In addition to a delicious dinner and fellowship with about 325 of your closest friends, we'll have a silent auction as well.
I can remember the best part last year were the hors d'oeuvres.
Yes.
I couldn't stay away from the hors d'oeuvre
Yes.
table. They were great. And is there an anticipated, of course, you've got to get over that final hill with the money raising, but is there an estimated time of groundbreaking that you're looking at?
We expect groundbreaking to be this late fall, probably October, and then 12 to 14 months to build the building. So we're hopeful that in early 2026, we will be in the new building.
And we're really, really looking forward to it. Prior to my letting you go, some overviews of Journey Home beyond the fact of the date and the statistics, the number of school children in Rutherford County and Murfreesboro City Schools, that you can highlight, the people purpose. Can you think of any anecdotal stories that come back about the Journey Home of people who've had the experience and they suddenly have moved out to lives that are very prosperous and very progressive, etc.?
We had at our Journey 24 meeting in March, one gentleman from Nashville who was there by video and in person, who told his story of coming through the Journey Home. We have a number of families as well who have come through the Journey Home, are now in housing. I think the real proof of the pudding in the things, Bill, that drive Russ and I and many other volunteers is that there are so many people who are so close to getting out of a bad situation, but they just don't have the bridge to get there. So from a people perspective, what the Journey Home does is provide that bridge. If we can just get them over the hump, if we can get them out of the car that's by the Kroger store and get the kids out of their friends' houses, if we can get those people back together in an environment where they can learn new skills, where they can have decent clothes for a job interview, get them to the point that they have a chance again, then they will be successful. And not everybody's going to be successful. But it's like many other endeavors that we're all involved in. All we can do is do our very best to give folks a chance. And it's very rewarding. And what keeps folks like Russ and I going is that we see those people and we see what happens to them and we see how they write their lives. And that's a pretty special mission.
You know, it's so fascinating as I look at you two gentlemen, one a retired emergency room doctor for 34 years, one a person in finance, basically an investment. If you look at the mission and objectives of your two professions, the investment banker, the investment individual, was looking for people to make investments for long-term and short-term returns, dividends from those investments, growth from those investments. Some risk, there's risk in anything, there's risk in helping people, but the purpose of seeing your role as an investment banker and how it applies to the objectives of Journey Home. Same with a medical professional. The ability to, and I can imagine the stories over 34 years you can tell of trauma in the emergency room, of putting people back together physically. And the Journey Home is putting people back together in life. And so you're, in a sense, not just providing a bandage, which may be food, you're providing the ability for long-term solving the issue.
Yeah, the idea is to transform their lives, not just to provide them a meal. The meal is the way to get them in, and that way we can give them the other services that can truly change their lives. So that at that point they can get their insurance intact. They can find a job. If you can't clean up, if you can't put on clean clothes, if you can't take a shower, nobody's going to hire you. And so you need to provide those chances for people if you want them to change their lives, if you want to give them a chance to change their lives.
Well, Journey Home also has classes for these folks. And one of the purposes that I remember about the classes, it's not just how to take an interview, it's not just how to prepare a resume or fill out an application. You're doing one of the most important building of re-confidence by the person in themselves. If there's anything, no matter what trauma, what crisis, what need for intervention a person has to go through, you're rebuilding confidence. And I think that was the one observation that I had in talking to a lot of folks who still were within the Journey Home program, or those that had finished, was that they were re-confident in themselves. And I think that is something that you can't measure. You can't draw data on how many re-confidences did we have, but you're building a re-confidence. And I think that's where the salute to Journey Home is so, so great. Are they going to have a major groundbreaking event? Do you know?
We will have a groundbreaking event. We have not decided on the date yet. We hope and expect it will be in October, but that is still being worked out.
Going back to marketing, as I teach quite often, it almost seems it should be close to Thanksgiving, and all of us thank for the blessings and everything we have in life, and thank the opportunity for other people who have been less fortunate to have the same blessings of life. And it may be a good Thanksgiving observation is that this is one investment,
Yes.
one investment into making the world a little bit better place than it was when we found it.
Well,
And after all, that's what we're all about, isn't it?
Isn't that so? Isn't that so?
one final comment. We only have 6 days left for that matching grant. So if you are willing to, if you want to donate, now is the special time because it expires on August the 1st.
This
so
sounds like,
there is,
all right, folks, if you want the sale, we're going to give you a double trade-in on that car, and come
That's
on
right.
Come on down.
It's a
Oh, I'm
2-for-1 sale.
I'm glad you told me. Oh, and one more time, how do people contribute?
Visit the website lovegodservepeople.org, lovegodservepeople.org, or 865-278-8757.
Do you know, Bill, what the entree will be at the event in September?
Actually, I do, but I cannot reveal that at this point.
Oh, okay. So when you sign up to be one of the 325 folks, we want you to come surprised. I will tell you, having gone last year, I will tell you that it was delicious. But I filled up on the appetizers, so the main course, and the dessert was good too.
It will be a lot of fun, and it will be an opportunity to fellowship with a lot of really good people who come together with a single mind to make our community better.
One more time, how do they get in, besides the 6-day time on contributing funds, how do they get in on making the reservations again for the September 12th event?
That September 12th event is the same phone number. We're going to give it to you again, 865-278-8757. 865-278-8757.
Or can they go on your website or email?
Actually, they can email to Liz Cowser. That's L Cowser, LCOUSER, at lovegodservepeople.org.
Excellent, excellent. And it was filled last time. Is that old house north of or east of Murfreesboro? Where it was last year.
It's right off Compton Road. It's the Copper Ridge Event Center.
Yes, it's an old home, or
I think it's an old, maybe even a barn, old barn.
Oh, okay. Okay. And
Beautiful, beautiful venue.
Oh, it's just a great, great place. 5 years from today, where do you see Journey Home? Do you have any?
Oh, the future is bright. There, with this new building, we will have the space and the ability to better serve the homeless. 5 years from now, we hope to have better housing options for the homeless, especially concentrated with people who have certain disabilities, the veterans or mentally ill, that type of thing, who we all would want to serve better.
You know, it's kind of interesting, a terrible thing to say after we've had this great visit. What you would love to see 5 years from now, no need for a Journey Home. No need for because everybody is doing fine. But that's not the real world, right?
That's right. I mean, the challenges change with time and demographics. We're fortunate in that we live in a part of the country that is doing very well. It's booming. The unfortunate part is that exacerbates the issue of housing affordability.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Our problem continues out there, and our chore at the Journey Home is to manage that.
Thank you so much, Bill Reed, Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Journey Home, and Russ Galloway. I used to love the James Galloway, the flutist. Oh, beautiful music. That's since your radio days, but James Galloway from Scotland, I want to say, and beautiful clarinet. And he's chair of the Capital Campaign, board member, and retired physician here in Rutherford County. Thank you, gentlemen, and we wish you continued great, great, great success.
Thank you, Bill.
We'll be right back with our second guest.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates. You might know me as the voice of the Blue Raiders, but I want to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Whether you're buying or selling, it's time to choose Chip. Do you have a growing family and need to upsize? Are you an empty nester now and need to downsize? Are you thinking of selling your current home but just worried you can't find something else? Well, it's time to choose Chip. I'm looking to be your trusted advisor in real estate. I'm Chip Walters with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates.
All right, guys, load them up.
The day starts early.
I loaded the sweet corn, the potatoes.
Dad got the fresh cut bacon on there.
Farmers throughout Middle Tennessee prepare their load of what they're bringing to the farmers market.
You know, our farm's a century farm. Been in our family for over 100 years.
The Rutherford County Farmers Market, a producer-only farmers market at the Lane Agri-Park in Murfreesboro.
Thank you for what you do.
We couldn't do it without you.
The Rutherford County Farmers Market open Tuesday and Friday until the end of October, 7 to noon at the Lane Agri-Park on John R. Rice Boulevard.
It's summertime and it's time to do more outdoors. But do you feel out of energy, lacking motivation and mental focus? It could be low testosterone. Low T affects millions of men and it happens naturally. The solution? Testosterone replacement therapy at Low T Center. I literally walk in, they check the level, and then I find out where I stand today. Right now at Low T Center, they are offering a free initial test. If you're over 30, schedule that visit at lowtcenter.com today.
Offer till July 31st. Terms and conditions apply.
Rutherford County is one of the fastest growing communities in Tennessee. This is Mike Klassen, the general manager at Middle Point Landfill. As a Class 1 landfill, Middle Point accepts non-hazardous municipal solid waste, approved special waste, and commercial waste. We have served this region for 2 decades, providing free disposal to all Rutherford County residents and low-cost disposal to Rutherford County businesses. Learn more at middlepointlandfill.com. For public services, we are sustainability in action.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by AmeriCare Pest Control and the law offices of John Day.
I've got pests. It's time to mount a counterattack on mosquitoes and reclaim your yard. AmeriCare Pest Control can help you enjoy your yard again and protect your family from mosquitoes that can carry West Nile and encephalitis. Call 893-7111 to learn more about their mosquito control services.
AmeriCare Services Incorporated. Licensed, insured, and bonded for your protection.
Call the best of the best to get rid of your pest.
893-7111.
WGNS encourages you to shop local. Would you like to learn more about the history of this community? Maybe you just moved to town and want to learn more about this new home of yours. Find out about local history this Saturday over at the one-room Ransom Schoolhouse. Members of the Rutherford County Historical Society will be there, and it's all free. Ransom School is at 717 North Academy Street. That's this Saturday from 9 until noon. The Red Cross is still critically low on blood, so please give the gift of life. Phone the Red Cross and make an appointment to give blood at a time that fits your schedule. Did you realize there are 2 free grief support groups that meet right here in Murfreesboro? One of them meets every Wednesday morning at 10 at the St. Clair Street Senior Center, and the other is a unique walking grief support group. The walk begins every Thursday morning at 9:30 under the picnic pavilion at Oakland's Park. And that's next to Oakland's Mansion. Remember, this is the final week to take advantage of early voting. That's early voting through this Saturday. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor events.
Rutherford weather.
We'll see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms at times this afternoon with cloudy skies, a high into the upper 80s. Tonight, slight chance for showers and storms, a low near 70. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Currently, it's 74.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. MTE has a solar expert and energy services supervisor to help its members understand if solar is right for them and help members avoid possible scams from outside parties. Learn more at mte.com/prosolar.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
This is Bill Krause returning on a wonderful Thursday morning, WGNS Roundtable Thursday morning special. And our second guest is a gentleman that I had the pleasure several months ago of meeting at the Madison Library in Davidson County. I serve as a facilitator for the Carnegie Writers Group, which are men and women who love to get together once a month for 2 hours and just share their writing, share their enthusiasm, share their creativity. I was especially struck by this gentleman, not only from his background, but by his whole insights and how his insights have also found its way through writing poetry. But I want to introduce you to Andy Kopek. Andy, how are you?
Very good. Thank you,
Feel
Bill.
relaxed, and we're just having a visit, not an interview, not an investigative reporting.
All right.
But I know our audience would love to hear your background. Where you grew up, where you were born, life as it was where you were born, what brought you to America, and then what brought you to the world of writing.
Yes. Thank you very much, Bill, for your questions and for having me here. I feel really honored. But I must say, right now I feel like I'm Nashvilleian because I've been already here for 4 months.
Okay.
But I was born in Poland.
Warsaw?
In a small village next to Warsaw, next to our capital. I was born there during the communism, so when still
pre-1989.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
The wall was still up, and growing there was very interesting and had its own challenges. I actually decided first to go to med school, which I did. So I trained as a physician, and then also did a PhD in neuroscience. And then I had an opportunity over 20 years ago to come to the United States and work in academia, and then in healthcare as well, and that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
But recently, due to some life events, I decided to dedicate myself completely to creative writing, or even I would say creative arts, and that's basically what I do. I would like to. I feel like I have some stories to tell, and I would like to tell them before it will be too late, and I will just turn into dust.
Now, in stories, life experiences, life insights into events and activities around you, life as it ought to be, life as it was in the past. Which particular area has interest to you in the terms of writing?
Can you rephrase it again?
Oh, why don't you pick a poem? In fact, talk about it for a second.
Okay.
You published a book recently.
That's right, yes.
And the title of the book is?
The title of the book is the Shmechara.
One more time?
Shmechara. Shmechara.
All right, which means?
Which means that's the word which we will not find in a dictionary yet, because I like in my writing, it's a poetry or other type of writing, create new words.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes I feel like there are certain things which you need to put create new words with the new meanings for that. So that word was created, and the book originated in actually my therapist office, when my therapist told me that I should create a space in my mind when I could deal with some old problems coming from my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that special place needs a special name. And I came up with the name Shmechara.
Is it reflective of Polish or?
Actually, no, not Polish. It's I wanted to give a name for a place in my mind when the healing is happening, and I can break it down, and it's explained in my book that the word Shmechara it has like 3 pieces into it. Sh first, then me, and then hara. The first sound sh comes from the Sanskrit, from the word ikshana, which means to look after. Then the second part, me, has a Proto-Indo-European root, and the Proto-Indo-European language is like a base language for so many languages starting in Europe and in Asia. So I use that, and that word and that the root smer, which you have me. For example, in English you have it in memory, right, or remember. In Polish that would mean pamięć. There's also M component in it. And the last part, hara, comes from, again, Sanskrit, from the word means dhara or dara, meaning a flow of a stream. Okay. So I put it all together and come up with that word.
Do you have a particular poem from that book, or not from the book,
yes,
that you would like to share?
Yes, I would like to share it. Maybe the book, the Shmechara is the title of the book, but it also is the title of the first poem in it. So
let's start.
Let me read that. In contrast to many people, for me to read, I have to remove my glasses.
Oh, quite the contrast, yes.
There is a stream flowing through my soul, caressing shores with its gentle flow. Small waves play with sand between my toes. Sun paints peace on cattails leaves. Pain. I hold pain in my hands, a twisted puzzle of charred roots, memories like manchineel fruits, poison thoughts of bygone times. Bygone, but not gone. Still, pain, putrid smell lingers in meanders of my soul. I drop to kneel by the stream and weep, letting the memories go. Teardrops drip, washing soot off the knotted roots. A sumi-e stream painting, mares of night, dissolved, diluted, gone. I can see my face in the stream again.
That is. Well, you know what? Let me just comment on that for a moment. When we meet with Carnegie writers, and we usually get 6, 7, 10, 12 people, all ages, all backgrounds, all demographics, and what have you. There's a certain purpose, it seems, that a lot of people write for self-therapy.
Yes.
And they
that's
write
true.
to
I
get
noticed
things
that.
out of their system, and they put it down in writing. Is that you?
That will be me also, yes, in that group, yes. That's how it started, I would say.
Yeah.
I always felt, even from a young age, that I like to write. Despite, you know, the problems or the trauma and things like that, I just like this creative aspect of the writing, and I like to express myself through it. But now that particular, like being more serious about it, started with that, with healing.
Without getting into the political world, would you say that the society you were raised in pre-1989 had some influences on how you looked at life?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think it's like a life journey, right? Again, I was on the other side of the wall.
Mhm.
So I have some experience with that, trying to be indoctrinated this way or another, but resisted that. Well, I can tell you a story about that because it's related to a book. I've never told you during our meetings and the library, but I found it kind of funny. So I don't know, I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, and the principal of the school, or public school I was going to, they were only public schools right? I was going to, recognized that I like literature, and I was pretty early reader, and I read tons of books, which we also passed together with my wife on our kids. But I was reading a lot, whatever I could find. And one day he took me to his office and gave me a book to reward me for being such a good student. And then, though, he asked me, you know what, I would like you, if you could, from time to time, come over here and tell me what your parents are doing. They were both physicians, you know, they had read the intelligentsia. So in a sense, they were like I would say maybe state enemy. Well, government should keep eye on that. But I remember that he exactly told that to basically spy on my parents, and I didn't.
Oh, really?
Yes. So I didn't. I
How old
told
were
my
you
parents,
at the time?
maybe 7 years old,
To
8 years
spy?
old. Well, he didn't use the say
Oh,
spy. He
to
said,
observe.
observe or come and tell me what your parents are doing at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what I'm
And
saying,
did
I
you?
was no. I told my
Good,
parents
good,
about
good.
it.
So, well, Andy, I
I
am very pleased and
Well,
very
thank you.
ama-
I talked
happy.
with my parents about it, told them about it, and we just ignored that. But
Wow.
there was some
You know,
stuff
you
like
just
that.
take that story, ladies and gentlemen, here at the WGNS family and radio audience, and you begin to think that can you imagine a 7-year-old child here in Rutherford County being asked by a principal or his teacher, would he spy or at least observe and report back
Yeah.
his parents' activities? You know, that's what tells you to keep your guard up at all times.
Yes.
We can't take democracy or freedom or liberty for granted at any occasion. And thank you. You're also involved in music too, correct?
Yes, I became involved in music in a kind of serendipitous way. And also, I would like to say that I'm now on my writing journey. I'm really embracing serendipity. So I'm meeting a lot of people, fantastic artists here in Nashville, and connecting with them and creating maybe new art forms. And in the end, when I started to write, my first idea was kind of like I will be writing like in medieval times. Even Andy Kopek is my pen name. I wanted like put a wall between the real me and the writing, give people my words and enjoy them. But then with time and doing it more and meeting more people, I now became like a performing artist. So I go on stage and orate my poems. I even have some musical little instruments when I do it myself. But I also, when I was in Wisconsin, when I moved here before, well, it was before I moved here, during my reading of my poetry, at one point my performance or my time was flanked by a musician. And he played before and after me, and during his break, he came over and listened, and he loved my poetry. He told me that it's very musical, has a good pace and the riff and everything, and asked me if he can write jazz compositions for some of these poems. Then I said, yeah, sure, let me think about it. The next week I went to his performance, so I could be able completely focused on what he's doing. And I loved what he does. His name is Taylor Lastek and lives in Eau Claire. And we started to collaborate. And now we're having a great project when he wrote beautiful, beautiful jazz music based on my poems. And we will, in the October, I think, or November, try to, in Minneapolis, record together when I will be orating the poems. He will be playing with his band, jazz music. We're going to combine it all together.
We're going to hear some of that music right after the break, right?
Yes.
You're going to set her
Yes,
up in about
yes,
a minute
I
and
brought
a
a
half. We're going
sample.
to play
Yes.
music.
Yes.
So we're visiting with a gentleman by the name of Andy Kopech. And the purpose of Andy's visit here, just to kind of give you a little insight, is that I think everybody should look within themselves and see what kind of expression they can do to, I use the term, clean out their mental body and look at a new aspect of life, whether it's through music, whether it's through writing, whether it's through poetry. We'll hear some of that music right after the break.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-345-2789. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-345-2789. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-345-2789. 800-345-2789 or biglou.com.
It's a Slick Pig barbecue. Spicy wings and Brunswick stew. Everything made fresh for you at the Slick Pig barbecue. There's lean smoked turkey and chicken too. Ribs so tender don't need to chew. Well, come on, folks, I'm telling you, it's a Slick Pig barbecue. In 1920 East Main, you're gonna love the pig.
The Slick Pig Barbecue, a Murfreesboro tradition.
This is Kim Dunaway from Sunshine Nutrition Center. You hear me on Monday mornings at 7:20 talking about how to lead a healthier lifestyle. We carry supplements, personal care, and grocery items at both our Murfreesboro and Smyrna locations, family owned and operated since 1989.
At Bud's Tire Pros, we sell all major brands of tires, and we invite you to stop by today for that next set of tires. Or maybe you need us to check out your vehicle before you head out of town. We offer everything from brakes to batteries, alignments, and more. No appointments necessary, just stop on by.
I'm Allison Mitchell with Bud's Tire Pros. We're located on East Main Street, exactly 3 miles from the town square, 1 mile past Rutherford Boulevard. Visit us online at budstirepros.tn.com.
French's Shoes and Boots is the #1 place to shop for boots, shoes, apparel, accessories, and much more. Family owned and operated since 1903, French's is always stocked with the top brands in work and western wear. French's is the best place in the South to get Hey Dude shoes for the whole family with the best selection in town. French's Shoes and Boots, your hometown store for boots, shoes, and more.
Shop at French's, French's Shoes and Boots.
1837 South Church Street in Murfreesboro.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
This is Bill Krause, final segment of the WGNS Roundtable, Thursday morning on a wonderful July morning. We're having a nice visit with a gentleman who's a friend, an associate. He just really sparkles with great insight and really looking at himself and his creativity to be part of his whole life and his whole being. Andy Kopek, who's here. Andy, give us a lead on of what music we're going to be listening to.
Yes, thank you very much, Bill. So, as I mentioned, I moved here from Wisconsin when I had a chance to meet a great musician, jazz musician and composer. His name is Tyler Lustig, and we now collaborating on creating a jazz composition to some of my poems. I will be reciting the poems, and then he will play with his band during the same time that the jazz do it. And I brought here one of the samples. It's still work in progress, to the poem called On Duality of Being.
One more time. Alrighty, now as Brian said, it sounded almost like Snoopy taking a walk. And what does that mean to you? Give us a little analysis of what that music should mean to us in terms of its meaning.
I think I don't want to do it. I want you to experience things and just tell me what do you think about music? How music affects you?
Well, that music I felt like it was probably 2 a.m. In fact, I almost felt like it was the end of a political rally, and that people were going home, and they were just playing. It was late at night, people sitting around, and I don't know if they were receiving the message from the music or using the music to influence their behavior at that particular time. To me, music can either be objectively, you're listening for the sound, the beat, the purpose, the message, the lyrics, the tune, the carryover of it, and others will look upon it as, quote, augmenting what the behavior is at that particular moment, or attempting to change that behavior. You know, we listen to happy music, and we get very excited. We can listen to melancholy music, and we become sad and have memories that come out. So I'm not sure. And I have to be totally honest with you, Andy, I'm not a jazz fan. So I guess I'm not the critic. Zach, are you a jazz fan?
I like to think I have a wide variety of taste in music. I enjoyed it. I thought it was I enjoyed the melody. It was very melodical. I enjoyed the little piano interlude there was in the middle too as well.
Well, thank you. I think what you said about music is very true. That music really very quickly reaches out to our emotions. I remember again when I was like a student in Poland, we were watching some independent films, and it was about again like here we will say marketing, I guess, but then in Poland it was more about controlling the crowds with the message and basically propaganda. And I remember that little piece, I forgot who was the director of that movie, but he made a movie and images were very neutral. It was like an interview of a bystander on a street. And then he put different music on it, different soundtrack. And they went, and in one it was very happy and optimistic, and it looked like these people were talking about something, a very happy event. Other music was more sad, and there was, again, through music you could trigger different emotions in the viewer, depending, even with the same images, just depending on the music.
And what you're attempting to do is relate that to your poetry.
Yes.
And so you're going to create the positive or negative or neutral mood between
Yes.
the combination of the sound and the reading of the poetry.
Yes, that's right. That's why I love Tyler Lastek and his sensitivity, because I think he can really feel my poems, if I may say that, and his music really nicely expresses what I wanted to do, just through words.
Wow, wow. Very different approach and very different aspect. Have you ever thought of, could you be writing poetry to other music? Let's say Dixieland. Da, da, da,
So more like songwriting?
Yes, or,
Yes.
that's actually writing lyrics for a song.
Yeah.
So writing lyrics for a song and writing poetry is maybe just the first cousin away, would you?
Yes, they are related. So, well, you ask about that, so I can tell you a story. That about a month after I moved to Nashville, I had very strange experience. It never happened in my life. I woke up around 2 or 3 a.m. and I noticed that in my head I was putting some words together. And I always have a little notebook next to my book for just in case. So I jotted them down, and I went back to sleep. When I woke up next day, I checked it out, and it was not poetry. It looked to me, it was more like lyrics of a song. So I finished all of that, and I was thinking about what that could be, and it looked to me that it could be words for EDM music. Not jazz, no country, no other, but EDM. Which stands for electronic dance music.
Oh, okay. This is beyond my generation.
Well, maybe you can tell more about it. Yes.
Thank you, Zach.
So I use some program to create like a simple music track of it, just so I can explain to people what is going on in my head, how I see it and feel it. And I talk with some people over here in Nashville, which is a great source for musicians. And I'm working with one to see if we could actually make it into a real composition, real song.
Wow. What inspires you to, well, you woke up in the middle of the night and started writing your first couple of months in Nashville. But what does inspire you? Do you wake up one day and say, this is the day, or you're driving along on I-24 without any rush hour traffic, or are you just had a great meeting that you had been to? What inspires you?
It's a good question. I feel, maybe it sounds strange, but I feel very strong internal desire to write and tell certain stories. And I never had a writer's block. I would say even maybe I have too much on my table right now, because I have very crystal idea that I want to write at least 3 more books and 1 or 2 more poetry books, which is a lot, right? So I need to now organize myself and put it all together this way or another. But for example, I was recently, again, because I focus more on creative writing, which make me more be self-aware or self-reflective about my life, origin of my family, my ancestry. And I really felt that, for example, when I look into my family, has a very interesting story. For example, my mom, who is still alive, living in Poland, and she's 8 years old, very sharp, but brilliant person. But also, when she is telling me her stories and her growing up during the communism and how she needed to go against the stream as a woman and a doctor, that stories are fantastic. So I thought I would like to use it, not to write her biography, but use it in writing about my family, which I would go back, because my roots are in Ukraine, actually. So going back to like 1821 to Odessa, to the first pogrom which happens there, that's my idea for a book. Start with that and tell about the certain events up to the Mars. So it will be in the future.
Wow.
So, for example, I have that idea.
I almost see another Fiddler on the Roof. Thank you so much. We have thoroughly enjoyed having you here, Andy. Andy Kopech. Oh, I haven't asked you this. Where can they purchase your book?
Yes, so there are several ways people can purchase my book. When you will be in Eau Claire, they are.
That's Wisconsin.
That's Wisconsin.
I think of it, Claire, and I think of something at a bakery.
that's right. So Eau Claire in Wisconsin have this. Minneapolis, some bookstores have it, but there are two bookstores in Nashville have it. One is Grimey's. That's the name of that bookstore and the record store. And the second is Taylor Street Art and Books. And you can also buy it directly from me through my website. Which is Andy Kopech Art.
A-N-D-I.
N-A-D-I, there's I. Kopech, K-O-P-E-K, art, .inc, like ink in a pen, I-N-K. Andy Kopech Art .inc. Or you can, there is also an email on my website. If somebody is local, they can contact me through that and arrange, for example, for my reading or performing my poems. And then I can come over, do it, and give books as well.
Poetry in motion. Thank you so much, Andy Kopech. We've enjoyed having you, and we will see you all, or hear you all, or you hear us all, next Thursday morning on WGNS, 9 a.m. on a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you.